Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. I have got a long weekend ahead of me. I've got that book to read, as I usually do. I've got my birthday coming up on the Sunday, and then apparently I'm going to some more Dungeons and Dragons. No doubt I will hear no end of Mike's character's obsession with horse hooves, and undoubtedly there's going to be a priest who is going to be absolutely shit-faced from a hangover and currently solidified in crystal on a church. So we'll see how he fares with a button to the head. But of course you didn't come here to find out about my weekend. No, I want to talk a bit more about the politics. A lot of this is going to be old news. But what I will say, oh god, that sun is burning something awful. A couple of small tidbits. First and foremost, I know it's probably not relevant, but I want to do this to prove a point more than anything. But I'm sure people will remember Davina McCall. She's not exactly a purveyor of right-wing views. I don't really like her that much, but she apparently has, I think it's a brain tumour, and I wish her a quick recovery. I may not agree with her views, but there is still a little bit of humanity left in me. Then, of course, we come over to Narinda, not a single bit of non-racism in me cower. You know, the bitch who keeps on spouting racist rhetoric and has recently launched an attack on, I believe it was Kate Middleton or Kate or whoever the bloody hell Kate is, I don't know. After this girl had gone through chemotherapy, I believe it was, and was going through hell trying to sort out a cancerous cell or tumor or whatever it was. But, of course, people were very quick to put her in her place in a now deleted tweet. A classic case of the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. But this is the same cow, I believe, and she's a pretty big cow. If only she could bring us some cash rather than milk. Anyway, this cow, I believe was the one who said that Brexiteers were racist, if I recall correctly. Oh, this has not aged very well, has it, Narinda? Why is it some people or somebody like her has the audacity to go and insult people who are going through much worse circumstances than her? Or the fact that every single time she appears on TV, the only thing she brings to the table is a big fucking gob. So big, in fact, it makes me look like one person rather than two. If you don't like this country, Narinda Keir, if you don't like the way people have voted, why don't you fuck off to some third world shithole where you came from, or where you rightfully belong? Because you're clearly intolerant, much like the religion of Islam. You keep on stroke number one. You keep spouting hatred and hate speech, yet you want us to care for you. Frankly, if it were down to me, I'd have a JCB come along and demolish your house, pick you up and put you on the first plane off to some third world shithole. People like you are vermin, Narinda Keir. People like you do not deserve to live in what was our great country, even though it's currently being run down by Keir the traitor starmer right now. Speaking of Keir the traitor starmer, he's come out and made some big fucking speech about, oh, we're smashing the gangs. We're smashing the people smuggling gangs. No, you're not. You've taken out one boat company. Big fucking whoop. I'm pretty sure there are people out there who will provide boats to these people, because these smugglers are buried in so much green paper money that they don't have to worry about costs. Some of these people are making like millions of euros a month because of the amount of people willing to pay for a spot on a dinghy just across the channel, come say hello to England and claim free benefits. The only time we saw the French police take any action against the dinghies and stab the boats was when there was a conveniently placed film crew there to record the whole thing, to basically make it look like, you see, we are doing something, we are stabbing the dinghies, we are stopping the boats, when in reality the French border force do fuck all. But of course the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. Just like they won't tell you how the RNLI is basically a taxi service for the illegal immigrants that are crossing over the channel that have no legal or human right to be here. If Keir the traitor Starmer was actually serious about smashing the gangs, I tell you what he would have done. He'd put gunboats along the shore. He would have basically had them along the shore, like I said before, and I'm writing now. Anyway, he would have had them along the shore. He would give these people one warning. Turnboats, stroke number 2. He would have told them to turn the boats back or they will be sunk. Because the thing is, if we sink the boats and then take these fuckers back over a bare minimum to the French shores or back to whatever country they came from, I guarantee you, the moment these people realise they will not be welcomed into this country by this route, this problem will go away. Just like that. Because if they're paying 2,000 euros or whatever the price is nowadays for a spot on a dinghy, and they can categorically see that these boats are either being sunk or turned back, then I can tell you right now, these illegal immigrants, they wouldn't be paying the people smugglers. They would be like, you know what? We should probably make something work here in whichever country we're in right now, or whichever country we came from. But of course, Keir the traitor Starmer hasn't got the balls to do it. In fact, I don't think he has a single bollock in him, quite frankly. The only bollock he has is the bollocking he gets in the houses of treachery. I mean Parliament. Or maybe I was right first time, and people wonder why I go nuts. Anyway, the point is, Keir the traitor Starmer hasn't got the spine to make the really tough decisions. He wants us to believe that just because he's gotten rid of one boat place, that he now deserves to be carried on here. Stroke number 3. That he deserves to be held up on our shoulders because of what a good job he's doing. The only thing I'd be holding up on my shoulders is a placard saying, "Get this fucking traitor out of Parliament." Because that's the only thing you deserve, Keir the traitor Starmer. I'll tell you one thing, Keir the traitor Starmer, I got more balls up here than you have down there. That much I can say for oh my god, it's not looking good. Stroke number 4 up there than you have down there. That much I can tell you for free. I have never had this many strokes in such a short space of time. What is that? 4 and 5 minutes? Christ. I really need to head down to the NHS, don't I? But then they'll probably say the same thing that I did in my book video. Stop being a fucking idiot. But that's how I would go about dealing with these illegal immigrants. Gunboats on the shore, give them one warning, turn back the boats, or they will be sunk. And then send these people back. Whether it's across the channel, back to France, or whether it's back to whatever third world shithole a lot of these people have come from. These people have no right to be claiming asylum in our country, quite frankly. They have no right to be in this country, period, when they start committing criminal offences. Especially, what was that guy's name? Madafasa? Or is it motherfucker? I can't remember now. Anyway, people like him, the moment they start making threats for partitions, his ass should have been deported. Just like that. But no, of course not. Because 2-tier, free-gear, Keir the traitor Starmer would rather house the illegal immigrants and the enemies of the state. Fear not the enemy that is clambering at the gates. Fear the man that walks freely within the walls. A man who whispers of conspiracy, who is the real conspirer and the real traitor of his own country. That's the way I look at it, quite frankly. Why is Keir the traitor Starmer still a free man, considering he has breached Tommy Robinson's human rights while he's in prison, while he is endangering the country, while he is bankrupting our country, and while he is jeopardising national security, which of course is something the mainstream media are not going to want to tell you. Bear in mind, Tommy Robinson should be a Cat D prisoner. He is being held as a Category C prisoner in a Category A prison, filled with some of the most dangerous people in this country, including a lot of Islamic extremists, because Woodhill is a mostly Muslim populated prison, much like Belmarsh is. So why is it Keir the traitor Starmer and the police feel it necessary to house a man who's not even a threat to the country in one of the most dangerous prisons? Further to this, because of the fact he is being malnourished, because he is being told you're only allowed to buy tin tuna, and from what I understand there's actually loads of types of tin food you can get, but they're only allowing him tuna. Are they trying to kill him through malnourishment? It sure feels like it, because you can get really fucking ill if you don't have your vitamins, your minerals, and a healthy diet. Well, I mean, I need no explanation. I look like two people, as I said. Anyway, you can die if you don't have all the necessary vitamins and minerals. I mean, if you're not getting enough vitamin C, you can end up getting scurvy, old black teeth, black gums, and all that shit. I can tell you right now from my school years, I ended up having like 900, 1,000% more than my daily intake of my fucking vitamin C, because I was drinking that much squash. But this isn't about me, this is about Tommy. Tommy should be getting decent meals. He should be at least be allowed one period of getting fresh air, like I am right now, every day. He should be allowed visitation rights, and they should be open rather than closed behind a screen. But Keir the traitor Starmer and the Woodhill governor are refusing to do this. Bearing in mind, this can go to a judicial court. This can go higher up in the justice system, if there is a justice system at this point, and basically these people can have their bollocks absolutely ringed, and they quite rightly should. 118 118, got your number now. But anyway, the point is, they should be treating Tommy with a bit more decency, if nothing else. They are not only infringing on Article 8 of the Human Rights Act, they're also infringing on Article 3 of the Human Rights Act. Torture. They are torturing Tommy Robinson with this constant isolation, lack of fresh air, lack of decent food, and basically you wouldn't be seeing Guantanamo Bay terrorists being treated like this, let alone a Category D fucking prisoner. So I call upon you, Keir the traitor Starmer, do what's right, and make sure this man gets treated with the respect and the decency that any man or woman fucking deserves. Because you, right now, Keir the traitor Starmer, could go down in history for war crimes. You could go down in history for committing some of the worst atrocities to a human being. Do you want that on your conscience? Likewise, to the governor of H&P Woodhill, do you want this on your conscience? And remember, if Tommy Robinson dies, this country's going to go up in flames. Just like that. Because people will see that as the final straw. And what will you do? Bring the army in? Ha! We've got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. How many have you got, Keir the traitor Starmer? You'll be lucky if you can bring up 10,000 people, let alone millions. And let me be absolutely clear on this. I am not advocating for, justifying, or wanting, or condoning a violent revolution. But you have to understand, Keir the traitor Starmer, do you think somebody like me, or Paul Thorpe, or Martuzzi, or Richard Inman, or Tommy Robinson, if he were out here on the streets, do you think they'd be able to stop hundreds of thousands of people going through the streets ready to overthrow the government? Something tells me that answer is very obvious, and it's obviously no. So before you get any ideas of treating him with contempt, remind yourselves that this country literally hinges on the hands of the governor and you, Keir the traitor Starmer. You two currently have the fate of your government in your hands. the fate of this country in your hands? Do you want to be responsible for the deaths of thousands of people? Do you want to make history, Keir the traitor Starmer, for being the only Prime Minister responsible for sparking a violent revolution? Do you want to be the only Prime Minister responsible for a revolution that is primarily being sparked off by decades of abuse towards the British people, as well as, of course, what's happening in regards to the Southport riots, where now a 23-year-old care worker has now been sentenced to 9 months in prison for showing the aftermath of the riots. No violence, no actions taken by her. She merely showcased what happened after the results of the riots. And she's been sent to prison for 9 months. While somebody who repeatedly raped a girl, repeatedly, to let that sink in, he was given 120 hours of community service and no jail time. I'm going to repeat that just so this can truly sink in. A care worker gets 9 months in prison for showcasing the aftermath of those riots, with no actions taken by her, just showing what happened there. However, I think it's an Islamic person, Mohammedan, it's that or he's an immigrant, comes over to this country, rapes a girl repeatedly, multiple times. He is found guilty and he gets 120 hours community service. Not even a fucking week. I don't think I need to express my anger at this point, because I think it should speak for itself, quite frankly. And I ask you, Keir the traitor Starmer, do you find that worthy of the word justice? I don't. I call it blatant two-tier judiciary. I call it blatant favouritism towards the Mohammedans. I call it a complete intolerance to the indigenous Brits, the native Brits, who should be being put first, rather than these people who come from their third world shitholes to loot, rape, pillage, who have no understanding of how to respect our cultures and beliefs. Am I using too much common sense here, folks? Am I living in cuckoo land? Or am I living off in that faraway planet called the real world? While Keir the traitor Starmer is exercising his fascistic state of Soviet Britain, while I'm trying to speak common sense. People around here may not even like what I have to say, but I frankly don't give a fuck, because it needs to be said. The truth will out. And you know what? As I've said before, and you can say it with me, I'm not going to sugarcoat a motherfucking thing. I am not going to mince my words. I am going to say it exactly how it is, and I will do my best not to bullshit you. But this is indubitable at this point. Keir the traitor Starmer is going to have more blood on his hands. And I ask you, British people, what's it going to take for you to come up? What's it going to take for you to rise up and take back your country? I ask you, what is it going to take for you to have the balls, whether up here or down there, or in my case both, to take out the trash? To place Keir the traitor Starmer and his traitor party in the dustbin of history? What's it going to take? Is it going to take more children dead? Is it going to take more political prisoners? Is it going to take Tommy Robinson being killed? Is it going to take Islam or the Mohammedans basically taking over our country and turning it into a third world shithole? Please tell me. But I for one have fucking had enough. Keir the traitor Starmer needs to be held to account. I think a petition needs to be made that Keir the traitor Starmer faces charges against Tommy Robinson for breaching his human rights and Article 3, the torture of Tommy Robinson. Because Keir the traitor Starmer has a lot to answer for. How he fraudulently got into power because he filled in the electoral form wrong. How he put Ali's address rather than his own home address. The fact that he is taking away winter fuel payment for to the tune of 300 quid for thousands, hundreds of thousands of pensioners. But he wants to send £2.5 billion to fund war in Ukraine. How he wants to give the Galapagos Islands, the ones that are controlled, I believe, by the US as well. He wants to surrender them. Stroke number 5. He wants to surrender them to Mauritius, which I think Trump is even already moving to veto this. Keir the traitor Starmer is being attacked basically by Donald Trump. And so he should be. He quite rightly fucking deserves it. This disgusting, loathsome little cockroach that Keir the traitor Starmer is. It's about time somebody told him that he is not fit for purpose. It is time that Trump took out the trash. And I think this issue of the Galapagos Islands is a very good start. More needs to be done, however. I think more protests need to be arranged. These traitors need to be held to account. So you know what? I urge Paul Thorpe, Richard Inman, Mark Toosey, what's the people, Voice of Wales. If anybody is interested in having me on for a little bit of no-nonsense banter, please hit up my email. I will be linking it in the description below. It is, as always, AbathaX without the underscore at gmail.com. Please hit me up. I would love to get in touch with you people. We need to start organising protests. We need to start doing something to take back our country from the traitors that are currently running it. As I said, and I will be absolutely clear, I cannot stress this enough, I do not want a violent revolution. I want this to be peaceful. But I think the cold, bitter truth is the next couple of protests that we do, if we do them, they could be our last chance to end this peacefully. Because at this point, I think Keir the traitor Starmer has made it his ultimate goal to destroy this country, and we'll be lucky if this country lasts another 6 months, let alone another 5 or 6 fucking years. I know some people may think I have a bit too filthy a mouth. Well, I'm sorry, the fairy liquid's not going to help you here. Anyway, I know some people are going to think I've got too filthy a mouth for some of these shows. But the bottom line is, as I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat a damn thing. I'm not going to mince my words, because I want to be one of the people that actually has the balls, whether up here or down there, or as I said before, in my case, both, to be able to say it exactly how it is. Because I want to say exactly what a lot of Indigenous people are thinking right now. And as I said, if Keir the traitor Starmer does end up killing Tommy Robinson, I can practically guarantee there will be a revolution like nothing anyone has ever seen. Keir the traitor Starmer, in this sense, is in a catch-22 situation. If he kills Tommy Robinson, his career goes up in flames. Just like that. If he doesn't kill Tommy Robinson, then in 9 months' time, if this country is still standing, which I highly doubt, but I have to try and keep some kind of optimism, But if he is able to come out and this country is still standing, my God, is Keir the traitor Starmer in for a hell of a wake-up call. If he thought the Silence documentary was bad, if he thought the Lawfare documentary was bad, he hasn't seen anything yet. I think Tommy Robinson, if he gets out of prison, it is going to be like Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, or whatever his fucking name is. Only in this case, unless it is already over there, it's going to be a first punch knockout. It's going to be a first round knockout. Keir the traitor Starmer will be on the fucking rafters. He'll be cooked. So think very carefully, Keir the traitor Starmer, because you could literally end your career, maybe even your life, in these next few months. As I said, and I have said it twice now, I will say it again, I do not condone violence. I do not condone a violent revolution or riots or thuggery or anything. But as I said, I can't stop thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people from charging into London and wanting your head on a spike. I can't stop that. What I can do is keep trying to advocate for peace. So can Richard Inman, so can Paul Thorpe, so can Maya Toosey, so can the Voice of Wales, so can June Slater, so can Preston Journalist, so can Gobby Talks About Things, if I've got the channel name correctly, or correct there. We can all do our part to try and push for a peaceful resolution. But as John F. Kennedy once said, when you make peaceful resolution impossible, you make violent revolution inevitable. Never forget that. You have been thoroughly fucking warned multiple times by me, Keir the traitor Starmer. You cannot hold me responsible for what happens in these next few months. Because if violent revolution does come out and Britain does go up in flames, the only person who will be accountable for all of this mess is the same person who's taking political prisoners and screwing over the British people.